context of Telmama's latest report, which showed that Islamophobia was at a record time high. Over 300% increase in Islamophobia since last year, and that's just in the past couple of months. However, I think it's fair to say if you've been paying attention, this wouldn't necessarily come as a surprise. When we protest, the Home Secretary is given free rein. Former and current Home Secretaries are both given free rein to cause hate marches, to cause mobs. They're allowed to use Islamophobic tropes that attempt to intimidate people and create this climate of fear. When we organise, the Speaker of the House is allowed to say and portray that legitimate political positions are incitement of terrorism. The former Prime Minister is allowed to say that when we organise as well, that radical Islamist parties are coming to Parliament. When we protest by resigning from political parties, Labour says that they are shaking off the fleas. The establishment is clearly worried about the strength of the opposition towards its position of Israel's genocide. And so because of this, they're given, again, free rein to make racist tropes, such as using the word Islamist and creating Islamist narratives, when in fact we know that the term Islamist is simply seen as the politically correct term to say Islamophobic things. We want to, when we speak about specific politicians, especially kind of the debate that's taken place recently around what certain politicians have said, they want you to believe that it's specific bad apples within the political parties, one or two bad apples, despite there being many of them. However, it's clear that when the Prime Minister refuses to even use the word Islamophobia, it's because they would be faced with the reality that it's systematic, it's intentional, it's institutional, and it implicates both Labour and the Conservative parties. When Muslims use legitimate forms of protest and democratic channels were depicted as a threat, Islamophobic tropes are naturalised and unchallenged throughout sections of our media and political parties. It also gives way, and this is something that should concern every single one of us, when this kind of narrative goes unchallenged, it gives way for the state to increase its power. And that's something that should concern every single person that is concerned with the rule of law, with democracy. Both the former and current Home Secretaries have called for these protests to be banned. And again, they use the cover of Islamists and as creating a threat. However, they would, if we truly took Islamophobia seriously, many of our political and media and political establishments would be faced with the reality that large sections of them have Islamophobia embodied as a part of the fabric of our society. The real story here should be that our government and so-called opposition are continuing to give way for the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. They continue to demonize and to dehumanize Muslims. Yet the story now is that the people calling for an end to the ethnic cleansing and calling for an end to the genocide are the ones that are threatening the democracy, social cohesion of our society, which is absolutely incomplete ludicrousy. And this is just to give you a small picture into how intertwined Islamophobia has become within our society, and how much of a free rein parts of our media, large parts of our media and political establishment have been given to say what they will. And this is what has given people, for example, if we look at some of the examples of Islamophobia that have been documented, it has empowered people, for example, to spray the words IDF on mosques. It has given people power and to feel empowered that they can break into mosques, that they can threat visible Muslim women. These are all documented cases, but again, it's not one bad case or